here's a story from a distant star about a planet called Zaponia, where the people cried and shook with fear, because the land was dry and the end was near. On an urgent mission to put it right, brave young Ziku, day and night, searched through space till in view came a spinning world of green and blue. Welcome to Ziku's Earth Adventure! And this is where it all begins in a world of science and earthling friends.
Good morning, stargazers. This is your Galaxy Weather Report. It's the first day of our 7th season, Zortum. The sky is green and the suns are pink. And except for purple morning mist, it will be a fine day. But we interrupt this broadcast with a message from Prime Counselor Zed Zandor. Prime Counselor Zed Zandor, calling Pod Controller Ziku. Calling Ziku. Come in, Ziku.
Zodi, Zandor.
Zodi, Ziku? Oh, Zoli, Zodiac! What on earth is that?
These are my gumboots. I'm helping Bongi with the garden. And these are to prevent my feet from getting wet or dirty. We're working on a dance. Bongi promised to show me more of it when we finish. It looks a bit like this.
Oh, please stop, Zico. You're giving me a headache.
Well, it's not perfect yet.
The information you sent to us last time has been helping us to improve soil on Zaponia. We've been making compost and mixed it with our own soil so that Zaponians can grow better veggies. We also followed your advice on broccoli. And it's officially on the banned substance list.
You might want to do that with Brussels sprouts too.
We have a new mission for you today.
Zap it to me, Zandor.
Please find out if there's more we can do to take care of our soil. We also need to know more about soil erosion. We have a terrible problem with this on our planet.
Soaky dokie.
Zoom, please zap off and see if you can snap more pictures of how Earthlings care for their soil. Also, can you find out about soil erosion?
Zodi, Bongi.
Ah, Ziku, you always frighten me out of the woods every time it happens.
I love the look on your face every time. What are you doing?
I'm making a small model farm here on my Uncle Farmer Funani's farm. I want to show him my plans so he can give me his advice. And I'm also making animals out of clay. Look.
Clay? What's that?
When soil is made out of very small bits, we can hardly see it. It's called clay. When it is wet and smooth, we can pinch or shape it. Here, feel some.
What is clay used for?
Clay is used for all sorts of useful things. When it is wet, we leave it to dry. If you put clay in a very, very hot oven, it becomes hard and waterproof.
I see you have a lot of cows there.
I've divided my cows into this camp. Please help me put these cows in this one.
Today I need to find out lots of ways in which Earthlings look after their soil.
My Uncle Farmer Funani should be here shortly. Perhaps you can ask him some more questions. Look, on this farm, I'm going to plant some more mealies. You can help me if you want.
Hey, you two. Hey, I see your vegetables are growing nicely, Mfalawam. Hey, you want to be a farmer like me one day, Bongi?
Yes, I'd love to be a farmer like you. Look how many cattle I've got. I'm going to be a rich farmer.
If you want to be a wealthy farmer, you're going to have to think very carefully about putting all your cows in one small field.
What do you mean?
Well, if you keep all your cattle in one small camp like that, very soon they're going to eat up all the grass and they're going to leave the ground bare. So, now, if you use up all your grass, then you're going to have to go and buy cattle food, and that's going to make you very poor. So why don't you move some of your cattle from that group to this field, say half from there, and put them into this field. And that way you're going to manage your farmland better. And after a while, you're going to have to move those two groups of cattle to two new fields so that you can give your grass a chance to grow back again. You know what this is called? Animal rotation. Why? Because we are moving the animals round and round and round and round all over the farmland.
That's very clever. And that way, all the animals will have plenty of grass to eat. Today, I need to find out how to look after soil. Can you help me, please?
Oh, yes. Well, you see, soil is there is only a very thin layer of soil on the Earth's surface, and it takes thousands and thousands of years to create soil through weathering. Now, if we destroy or neglect the soil, we don't look after it, then very soon the Earth is going to look like a desert. Now, like I said earlier, if we overgraze the land, then you expose the soil, and you make it very easy for soil erosion to take place.
What exactly is soil erosion?
Well, that is something like when the wind or water can blow or wash away the soil. Come, take a look here. Bongi, come and give me a hand. Pass me that watering can. Now, let's see. When we pour the water onto the ground like this, you see the effect. You see what happens? The soil washes away. Now, if you've got a river on your farm, take your can, the same thing happens. You see, a river can wash away all the soil on the banks of a stream and wash it right out to sea. And sometimes the farmers, they remove all the natural bushes and the trees from the edge of the river so that they can plant more crops. But this is greedy, because when it rains a lot, then the river floods and all that water comes down and washes the soil away. Now, if only they could have left the natural plants and the trees and the bushes, it would help to keep the soil together by their roots, and it'll stop the soil going away.
I'll make sure that on my farm there's natural bush on each side of the river. I don't want no soil erosion on my farm.
Yes, I can hear you, Zoom. What have you found out? Ah, yes. Earthlings use soil to plant crops for humans and animals. But there is a limited amount of soil, and it takes a long time to create through weathering. Oh, I see, Zoom. What are you doing with those pictures of grazing animals? Oh, are they being moved from one field or camp to another to prevent overgrazing of the plants and grass? Yes, overgrazing can cause soil erosion. Ah, that's not very pleasant. Behave yourself, Zoom. Ziku is sending us another message from Funani.
So now that we have planted all our bushes and plants and trees back on the river, we need to think about the way that we are going to plant our crops. You might want to introduce contour farming.
What's that?
Sabolomanza, Bonisa, come, let me show you. Okay, now first of all, when it rains a lot, imagine, when it rains a lot, the water's going to want to flow downhill. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay. Begaga, Jong. It may also wash the soil off the hill, like so. Can you see?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what happens is that Bongi won't be able to plant any vegetables, and it's just going to end up looking like a desert. So what you need to do is to plant your crops in furrows that go along the side of the slope like this. There's another one. Now you can help me plant all your crops. What are these? Sunflowers?
Yes.
Help me put them in the furrows there on the contours. There's some for you, and there is some for you. Right, now we put our crops in the furrows, in the contours, on the slope. Let's put some here. Okay. Yeah. There. So, we have our crops. Now, when it rains, you will see that it's going to be more difficult for this soil to be washed away by the rainwater. Okay? This is called contour farming. Okay? We plant our crops in steps which go around the slopes like so. And that helps stop the rainwater just rushing downhill and washing everything away. But it is also very important to leave strips of natural grass or bush or trees, because that will help to bind the soil and keep it from washing away. Now, there is something else you might want to think of. You've got quite a few fields here, Now,
Yes.
if you are going to plant your seeds in this field, imagine if a very, very strong wind comes and blows through this field while it is growing. It's going to take a long time to grow, not so?
It will.
So what will happen when the wind blows?
The wind will blow the soil away like the rain washes it away.
Exactly. That's why it is important to plant some trees in between your fields so that it can act as a windbreak. Yeah, let us put some trees. Are these your trees?
Yes.
You can put some there. And I will put some here. This is what we call a windbreak. You see, it's also important, once you have plowed your fields, not to leave them open for too long. You need to plant. What are you going to plant here?
I thought I could plant some lilies here.
Aha! Now, if you want to look after the soil on your farm, then it is also important to plant a different crop every year. You see, different crops need different nutrients. And by doing this, we make sure that there are plenty of nutrients in the soil. We don't use up all the richness in the soil. And if you planted mealies here last time, then you must plant a different crop like sunflowers or pumpkins. So what's it going to be?
I think maybe pumpkins, rather.
Right, now, what you must do first, when you plant, is to put some compost or manure into your soil, because that is going to give the plants all the nutrients they need to grow. Like so.
I remember we spoke about compost last time. We have to remember to keep the waste, like scraps of vegetables from the kitchen and other plant materials, and leave it to rot or break down. What's manure?
Manure. Manure is animal waste. Now, this is very useful. You see, when you have harvested all your crops, it's a very good idea to let your cattle or your animals go into the fields to graze on what is left of the plants. That way, it is easier to plow the waste back into the soil.
Thank you. I've got so much new information about farming.
And I think I'm ready to finish the rest of my farm. Will you help me, Ziku?
Certainly. I just have to report my findings to Zandor.
Okay, yo, follow up, yo, namatolo, hey, kunzima ukuguga.
Xandor, come in, please, Xandor.
Ziku! Have you gathered the important information for everyone of Zaponia?
Yes, Councillor Zandor. Zillion is ready to transmit.
Zap it to me, Zillion, Ziku, and Zoom.
Thank you, Zori. People on Earth have a problem with soil erosion. The soil can get blown or washed away if you don't watch out. The first thing I found out is that farmers should not overgaze their lands. This means there should not be too many animals in one camp. Also, groups of animals should be removed from one field to the next. It's called animal rotation. Our pictures show very clearly how bare soil can be blown away by the wind and washed away by the rain. This is what happens if soil is left bare. Windbreaks can protect the topsoil from erosion. It is very important not to leave bare soil exposed. All the fertile bits get blown away. Contour farming prevents the rain from washing the soil and crops away. If strips of grass and natural bush are left in between crops on a hill, there will be less wash away. It is also important to leave natural plants growing on the banks of a river. This binds the soil. Crops are changed and different ones are grown in the same field so that they do not use up all the same food in the soil. Soil also needs to be enriched with compost and manure. Zandor, all these things are sure to help us improve the soil on Zaponia.
Well done, Ziku. You have gathered some very valuable information that is sure to make Zaponia a better place. Thank you, Ziku, and be sure to thank your Earthling friends.
Zoki dokie, Zandor.
Prepare to send information. Data drives engaged. Uploading files. Coordinates ZZ. Completing transmission. Upload successful. Over and out.
Zowie! Mission accomplished. Sehr soon, Zillion. Zigazoo.
Good night, good Earth. Good luck, brave Zarponia.